welcome back to another episode of God Built This Podcast. I'm your host, Maxine, and we're on episode 196. Let's talk about the Emmys. The Emmys. So shout out to, what's her name? Quinta Brunson. I hope I'm saying it correctly. I really enjoy her work, well, specifically to Abbott Elementary, the show that she wrote, produced, and starred in. It's an amazing show. Like, it's a nice, cute sitcom. Well, I guess it's not a sitcom because it's not a live audience, but it's a nice situational comedy. It really is a sitcom. And it focuses on teachers working at an underserved school, public school. And I want to say it's in Philly or Baltimore, one of those areas. But it's just so funny. I love seeing, like, I love the concept of it, you know, considering my background in teaching and just knowing hands-on what the classroom looks like, what the school looks like, you know, as far as just the day-to-day, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. I really think she did a good job in capturing just the chaos in being a teacher and understanding the tasks that you are given amongst the many hats that you're wearing. So she does an amazing job on the show. I haven't finished watching season 1 though. I just kind of stopped, but I'll continue it. I know the next season is coming on in a couple of weeks, or a couple of days actually, September 21st. So shout out to her for winning her first Emmy, and this Emmy is for outstanding writing in a comedy series for Abbott Elementary. And it was just a really amazing moment. Again, so Quinta Brunson, in case you don't know her, she is a Black woman, and I feel like the Black community knows who she is as far as like they've seen her around. She's been known for short video comedic clips and memes. So prior to Abbott Elementary, there's this video of her, and she's on this date with this guy, and they're at the movie theaters, and you know the movie theaters food is much more expensive than normal, right? Like a bucket of popcorn is about $12.75, and that's a small. Like, what are we doing? So you want to be very limited if you do purchase food from the movie theaters. So she's on this date with this guy, and he decides to get more than just a bare minimum, you know, just the popcorn with butter. So he gets like, you know, a large drink and a Sour Patch candy. Like, he just adds on to it. And she's looking at him, and mind you, she has these big brown eyes, kind of like a bug, you know, and that's no shot to her. I think she's a cute girl. She has these bug eyes. Like, it's kind of creepy. If you think about it, it's kind of creepy. But she's a pretty girl. Anyway, so she has these bug eyes. And so she's looking at him like, what? Like, so her famous line, I'm trying to remember, I think it was verbatim, "Ooh, you got money. You got money." So that's her. That's Quinta Brunson, okay? So if you've ever said that line, if you ever heard anyone say that line, they got it from her, because she went viral after that video, because it was so relatable, completely understandable how one could react like that when they're purchasing more than just the bare minimum at a movie theater. So shout out to her for winning her first Emmy. But it was a controversial moment because her moment was essentially taken away from her from just the optics alone, and just the optics alone. So when she accepted her speech, Jimmy Kimmel, who is, you know, you guys know him as the host of his late night talk show on ABC, or is it NBC? One of them. And he wasn't the host of the Emmys. He was just a presenter of this award, and he's also a stand-up comedian, in case no one is familiar of that. I don't know if he does stand-up anymore, though. He's just a comedian. Whatever. Anyway, so he is also a comedian, and as he was presenting the award, he was doing a bit about just being upset that he hasn't won this category yet. I don't know why. I don't know. So he, as part of the bit, right? He goes down on the floor. He lays down on the floor playing dead, and that's what he said he was going to do. Like, I'm just gonna give up on life type of thing. I'm playing dead, because he was so upset as part of the bit that he did not win the category that he's been wanting to win. So he's laying on the ground, laying on the floor the whole time, as Quinta Brunson is accepting her award, and she's standing there. He's literally right behind her, or like even like right next to her, laid on the floor, okay, playing dead. And it's just an awkward moment, because you have, this first time Emmy Award winner, young Black woman, is doing incredible work. It's not like it was a sympathy, like sometimes these awards, now that they're showing a woke side to themselves, they're trying to make up for all of the 35 years that they haven't given an award to a Black woman, to a Black man, to an Indian woman, to a gay, non-binary, and finally you see a rightfully awarded Black person, or a person who just happens to be Black also. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to give it to her because she's Black. No, I'm giving this award. I'm awarding this woman with this award because her writing is A+ for this show. I'm telling you, this show is hilarious. And I feel like all educators, all administrators, school administrators, even the janitors at the school, like, there's a special connection to the show because we get it. We see each other. So to see how amazing her work is, it's definitely well deserved. And for Jimmy Kimmel to take away from her moment by being just a doofus, like, what are you doing on the floor? And look, I'm the first one to support comedians. I love comedy. I support any joke. For the most part, but I feel like the execution needs to be executed properly, and this execution was just horribly done. And I was just I felt sorry for the situation, and the fact that there are no pictures, like actual pictures of her accepting the award without seeing him in the shot. And of course you do have new aged systems that can just graphic design him away from the shot, and I've seen some pictures of that. People have done that, which is pretty cool. But it's still, the fact is, you took away from my moment. You're laying down on the floor and you thought this was funny. Like he could have ended that joke a bit earlier, you know what I mean? As soon as she got up to accept her award, he could have gotten up and been like, congratulations, and then moved to the side, right? It could have been over. But I guess when you're so committed to the joke, you just have to go at it 100%. So afterwards, whenever they accept the award, there's this backstage moment, and they have to answer questions, go through some press. And she was questioned on how did she feel about that situation, and she said how she was just soaking in the moment, and she appreciates Jimmy Kimmel and sees him as the godfather of comedy, and she was just soaking in the moment so much so that she didn't really fathom being angry or feeling disrespected. And she did say though she's going to be a guest on his show in 2 days, so maybe she'll be mad at him then and she'll punch him in the face then. And that was a funny moment. She just has great comedic timing. She's very funny and just pretty cool from what I see. And just her work, that show was really, really good. It's just a cute, light 30. Well, I watch it on Hulu. I don't have Hulu Plus. I don't pay extra for that. So there are commercials. So for the most part though, the show is about 27 minutes. It's pretty short. But it's just a really good situational comedy show. Situational comedic show. So, Sheryl Lee Ralph, I know her as the mother of Moesha, okay? I know her work is extensive. She was the original Dream Girl, one of the Dream Girls originally, as well as Loretta Devine and another woman who I am not familiar with. I'm so sorry. But Sheryl Lee Ralph, I just know her so well from being Moesha's stepmother in the show. Shout out to Brandy. And she played that role so well. Has this stepmother who was trying to get in the good graces with the children of the man whom she married, who, you know, these are his children, and she's just trying to fit in. And you have Moesha just being just a hard knocks, hard to kind of break in young teenager. Oh, that show was just a pivotal moment in my childhood. Shout out to Moesha. But yeah, so I mean, beyond Moesha, of course, Sheryl Lee Ralph has an extensive acting career. And she actually won her first Emmy, during the award ceremony, and she won it for Best Supporting Actress in the comedic series, Abbott Elementary. So she also does a great job in the show. Literally every actor on that show does an amazing job. It's a really I just love well-written shows. The comedy is well done. The execution is well done. The concept is just chef's kiss. It's really a good show. It's just a lighthearted show, and I just watch it on Hulu. But anyway, so while she won her award and she's giving her acceptance speech, she starts to sing a song. And it wasn't until I watched another clip of her singing the song that I realized, what she was saying. I thought she was just talking about, I don't know what I just wasn't really paying attention to the lyrics until the second video I watched of her singing that song. And the way that the song is sung by her, it comes off very slave song-ish. Like, I'm a slave and I'm trying to find my way home, or, wade in the water. It's that type of tone. So I finally listened to the lyric, and she says, "I am an endangered species." Okay, what are we doing? Who's an endangered species? Who? Black women? Women? She's Jamaican as well. Jamaican, like, there's a lot of y'all. Like, what are we talking about? I don't know. I just wish it just could have been a light moment. Like, I just feel like these award acceptances, these speeches that they give, I feel like they're just demonstrating this opportunity to be woke, or to be this like all-encompassing social justice warrior. And I just feel like, just say thank you. I worked so hard for this. This will be one of many. Like, just accept the award and go. Like, I just don't want to do this heavy shit. I just accept the award and go. Like, you do a couple tears, that's fine. Thank God, shout out to God. He's always been near. He never abandoned me. Like, say those couple of words. But you don't have to sing a slave song. You don't have to go that far. Like, you can just go. That's just my take. Like, when she was singing, I definitely cringed. It was just like, what is she doing? Like, what are we doing? And of course, all of the white celebrity attendees are standing up. Oh, yes. Look at our slave finding her voice. Like, girl, relax. Like, I don't know. I don't want to cry in front of white people. I don't want to cry in front of white people. I don't want to fathom the words, "I'm an endangered species" in front of white. What the fuck are you talking about? What? And I think we harp on all of the oppression that, yes, of course, there's a lot of oppression has been had. Systemic oppression is real, particularly against Black Americans. And that is not up for debate, right? Like, I totally recognize that is actual. But I also just don't like to stay in the negative. Like, I don't like to stay there. I think we could recognize the past, the oppression, and even some oppression that you may be feeling in the moment, but recognize how far you've come. Like, damn, you are in this hit-ass show. Like, say if she didn't even win the award and she was just nominated, that is still an honorable thing that you should rejoice, you know? And I think that is, I don't know, I think like in this culture that we're in and this climate that we're in, we're so caught up with who is more the victim, who is more oppressed, who has it the hardest, right? I'm a non-binary, gay, and binary, and I go by Z, Zer, and you better not confuse the two because it's more than two. I'm an anomaly. Like, can we just accept the award and go? So, you know, shout out to Sheryl Lee Ralph. I think she well deserved it. You know, I don't take that away from her. She's an incredible actress. And she does great work. Like, she should have gotten an award for fucking being Moesha's mother. That's what she should have gotten an award for. They should run it back. They should have retrospective award ceremonies. You know, people who missed out on getting an award for the work that they've done many years ago. Here's your second chance. Sheryl Lee Ralph deserves an award for being the mother of Moesha. And I forget her character's name. But Mrs., because I know her husband's name was Frank. I think he actually passed. I don't think he's still with us. A lot of the people from Moesha are gone, like in a whole nother realm. Okay, Hakeem, the aunt. So Sheryl Lee Ralph's character, she was close with that woman, bald head, bigger size, and she owned that lounge club. She's passed on. Many of the guest appearances that were frequent on the show been passed on, and I feel like Frank passed on too. I don't want to put that on him if it's not true. I don't feel like looking it up right now. Okay, but so Sheryl Lee Ralph decided to comment on Kimmel and him laying on the floor while Quinta Brunson accepted her award. She quoted that it was disrespectful. And I'm going to try to find the exact. Okay, so she said specifically, I was absolutely confused, she told reporters. I didn't know what was going on. I wish that man would just get up off the ground. Exactly. Then I realized it was Jimmy Kimmel. Ooh, the disrespect, Jimmy. But that's just me. I told him to his face. He understood. Okay, that's cool. You know, I appreciate that she kept it real. And I felt like, you know, there was a lot of backlash against Jimmy Kimmel for that. Twitter was on fire. And I was seeing a lot of like Kimmel tweets on my timeline. I'm like, what's going on? And I finally came across what happened. And I think, you know, with just a demeanor that Quinta Brunson has, she probably is the type to not react quickly in the moment. It may take her a while. I understand. I could be like that sometimes too. But she just handled it with grace. Like, she wasn't having an attitude in the moment, or she just kind of held it together. She had a poker face, and she did a good job in just like not letting it faze her. So shout out to her for still with. I think it was well deserved. Anyway, so Jimmy Kimmel apologized to Quinta Brunson, says Emmy skit was dumb. Absolutely it was. And I'm glad he did that. So I look at Quinta Brunson as has an Issa Rae. Like, I feel like they're equivalent in that capacity as far as being just comedic writing geniuses when it comes to creating a show and having just a history of that. But I think the difference is, though, Quinta is more of the comedian side, and she may be more talented in that sector in comparison to Issa Rae. Now, Issa Rae is funny just in her writing and the production of her work. Even her acting, she has some comedic elements, but I think naturally Quinta is more rooted in that. And because of her previous skits, her comedic skits, and that, ooh, you got money, like, that's so funny. I think she has more of that in her bag in comparison to Issa Rae. But shout out to both of them. I do appreciate that they won, and it was a great moment. And I do agree that it is well deserved. And, you know, and so it be. Now, okay, let's get into... man, I mean, I don't even know what to say with this one. Okay, let's start. Another reckless female driver incident took place. And I just came across this today at the time of this recording, like right before I decided to record. I came across this news, and it's low key terrifying. And I don't know where the link is to the story, but the story is broken down into different tweets that I'm reading in a thread on Twitter. So just bear with me. So, okay, let's go over this. So a woman decided to run over her boyfriend with her car after looking through his phone and found texts that she suspected was of him cheating on her. Now, when I click the thread to read through it, I'm going to read it verbatim. A woman drove her boyfriend to the mall. So she drove, and there's an actual video, so it proves what happened. Now, if this whole story is false, then okay, then that's horrible. Stop lying like this. But if it's not false, it's horrible either way. So anyway, a woman drove her boyfriend to the mall. While he was inside shopping, she read his messages and saw messages suggesting he was cheating on her with her sister, and she did this. So in the video, you see this, I think it's an SUV, not a caravan. Yeah, an SUV car driving pretty quickly, pretty fast. I don't know the miles per hour. As she, so let's look at it from the boyfriend's perspective. He's thinking that she's just pulling in closer to pick me up, right? So he realizes that, oh wait, no, she's running me over, right? She's not just pulling in closer to pick me up. She's running me over. And she jumps out the car and confronts him on what happened or what she saw and beats him up or something like that. So the video is like just weird. Like you really see a car pulling towards the curb of the mall, and it's a caravan. Yeah, it's a caravan. It's a quick turn. And not only is a quick turn, not only she runs him over, that's what I'm looking at. So not only does she runs him over, she parks her car illegally, right? She's not properly parked, and she gets out the car. Her car door is still open, and she jumps out to not only, she's going to the boyfriend who she ran over, but she's not like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. No, she's not doing that. She jumps out the car to beat him up, like to attack him some more. And her boyfriend's name is Jawan. Yeah, so that's red flag number one. Jawan. I mean, what else is a Jawan gonna do? Of course he's gonna cheat on you, girl. Jawan? I never met a Jawan. You could have just named him Jason, Mom. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Okay, Jawan. But anyways, so look, I'm reading some messages. Oh, let me read some more. So she ran him over with the car. She also ran over a pedestrian. His name was Christopher Scott Griffiths. Okay. Walking across with his cane, who was at the wrong place at the wrong time. He was 58 years old, had been paralyzed after a motorcycle accident, and after a lot of effort, physiotherapy, and rehabilitation, he learned to walk again with aid of his cane. After running them down, she exited the vehicle and started to beat her boyfriend. She had their 8-month-old baby in the car during all. Oh, wait. Okay. So I think she intended to run over her boyfriend, but instead of her boyfriend, she ran over the pedestrian. Got it. And so she jumped out her car after parking it illegally and leaving her car door open. She jumps out her car and started to beat her boyfriend. She had their 8-month-old baby in the car during all this and left her baby in the car while she went to beat her wounded boyfriend. So her boyfriend was also, if I'm gathering this correctly, she hurt the 50-year-old man also while running over. Okay, so she intended to run over her boyfriend. He did get run over, as well as someone else. And this someone else was this pedestrian who learned how to walk not too long ago after an accident he had. And he's a 58-year-old man. So there are casualties here in this accident. And so there's a baby in the car as well as she was driving recklessly. Just horrible. What happened? So she had their 8-month-old baby in the car during all this and left her baby in the car while she went to beat his ass. that part. The pedestrian died, unfortunately. So rest in peace. The woman's name is Tavia Chapman. Okay. And it's spelled TAAH apostrophe VIYA. Okay. 24 years old, y'all. 24 years old. Was indicted on charges of aggravated murder, felonious assault, attempted murder, and endangering children. She faces life in prison. The attempted murder charge is for her attempt on her boyfriend because he actually survived. Whew. Okay. I mean, how old was Jawan? Or is Jawan? Because he's still alive. He survived. But Christopher did not survive, the 58-year-old pedestrian. And that's really sad. And it just... Look, okay, so there was an 8-month-old baby. There was an 8-month-old baby in the car. So this gives me further context. So she just had this baby not too long ago. She's postpartum. She probably has postpartum depression. And I don't know the age difference between her and her boyfriend. So I just would like to know that just for some more context. And I don't know how long they've been together. But I assume just by the instant reaction to do this act, to react this way so violently, it may have been something where it was the last straw. Like maybe he cheated on her before and she didn't react as violently at all then. And maybe this was the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, the detail of him actually cheating, allegedly, I don't know, cheating with her sister. Now, that's some like, what do we do? Is this soul food? Fake fuck my sister. Fuck family. Shout out to that movie and show. Just a classic. Well, fake fuck my husband. Fuck family. Fuck family indeed, okay? At times, sometimes, some family members. Now, okay, that's foul, of course. Sheesh, I don't know at that point. I mean, I think a good whooping will be had on both ends. But to run you over, I don't know. I guess I'm just not emotionally charged like that. Or I just don't allow myself to be because I know how I get when I'm angry. Like, I just don't like to, it's just so low vibration. It's just not my vibe. It's just so low vibrational. I like to chill. I don't like to get too angry. I just like to chill. No, I mean, look, it's just a horrible situation. I think it's one of those things where it's like, why couldn't you just walk away? Why couldn't you just like end the relationship? Like I was feeling like that too, right? I still feel that way. Like, why couldn't you just not react like that? Why couldn't you could have just had some restraint? I think though, there are some people who are just more unhinged than others. Like some people are more emotionally wired for whatever reason, you know, and, you know, you also have to put into place that mental illness may be a thing. Like that's always in the back pocket too. So you activate the mental illness and you activate being so emotionally wired and you activate being postpartum and experiencing depression possibly. You activate maybe a history of him cheating on her. And then you have this as a reaction. My question is though, how did she have his phone? What? Why would she on his phone, and how did she have his phone? So he was at the mall without his phone, and she was picking him up, and while she picked him up, or right before she picked him up, she went through his phone. How and why? Like, why did you go through his phone? But, that's just weird to me. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things, like, if you go through someone's phone, for what? Right? Like, for what? Because it's not like, okay, so according to what I read, it's not like she came across pictures that confirmed the cheating, right? Instead, she came across text messages that may allude to cheating, that were suspicious of cheating. So who knows, right? But I feel like ultimately, though, why are you on my phone? Right? Like, what? And I think, though, when you're looking at phones and you're reading text messages, unless it's very explicit and very straight to the point and there are pictures probably attached to it, then you have a case. But I think, though, if you don't know the tone of the message, if you weren't the recipient of the message or the message giver, then you may be so caught up in the fantasy that you're creating in your mind of what you think it is when it's not. So that's the thing, like, and that's why I say, like, don't go there. Like, don't go searching for something that may not even be there, or you may see something that may seem like it's there, yet it's really not. And now you made something out of nothing, and now you killed someone in the process who wasn't the person that you was actually intending to kill, your boyfriend. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking, like, there has to be another way to handle this, right? Like, how did he not have his phone on him? Like, I don't know. I just think if you're going to be a cheater, do it right. Like, do it right, or do it well, or have your phone. Maybe he had two phones. Maybe he forgot he left his phone. I don't understand that, because if you walk into a mall, why? You're in a public place, right? Maybe you want to look something up on your phone real quick. Maybe you want to send a text. Like, what? Why is your phone is always on you? Your phone is on your person, always. So how does your phone? Anyway, someone responded and said, well, what happened? Someone responded and said that, not condoning it, her actions, but if the boyfriend had not cheated, will this all have, happened in the first place? As well as another response, it says, if the boyfriend didn't have these text messages that alluded to cheating, then, she wouldn't have reacted this way. And on one hand, look, I get that, but I also just feel like, no. Because, again, like, say if he wasn't cheating, and you just took something that was nothing because of your insecurities, because of historical alleged, I'm just creating a theory, but maybe historically he did cheat on her, and she was in fear that he was doing it again. And she came across these text messages. I don't know what these text messages included. I don't know what was the tenor of the conversation. Like, first of all, why are you texting my sister? Like, why are you... huh? Why do you have her number? Like, that alone would have been enough. But I don't know. I think it's... I've also recognized that when... it's so easy to say, well, just walk away, just leave the relationship. I get it. It's not easy to do that, especially if you have a child with that person 8 months ago. It's a difficult situation, but I just feel like there has to be another way to handle things. Like, there has to be a better way to react, right? Like, at the very least, pull a Angela Bassett and, well, her character, not Angela Bassett herself, but her character from Waiting to Exhale, and burn his clothes, right? Like, at the very least, burn his clothes in a tub, like Left Eye. Like, if you want to be violent, do those low-level violent crimes. If you have to be violent, if you just have to be violent, right? If you have to be, I would suggest doing those actions. I'm not condoning it, but I'd suggest it instead of driving your car recklessly to run him over, but he survived, right? So your goal wasn't even accomplished. But you did run over and kill someone else in the meantime. It's just pretty fucked up. And apparently she had a pattern of angry and violent behavior. She had previous arrests for breaking her ex-boyfriend's window with a hammer and beating her 7-year-old with a belt and punching her in the face. Okay, well, no, she's crazy then. Okay, never mind. So take everything away. Take everything away and that child away from her, that 8-month-old. So, okay, well, after I read that, and if that is true, because, we find any and everything and be making shit up, I don't know. If this is true, that part that I just read, she needs to be buried in jail. Like, I mean, what the fuck? That's insane. So the whole postpartum, that doesn't fly. That's not a viable excuse because she apparently has history of being violent. And this has been done with previous ex-boyfriends. So whether the ex-boyfriends were cheating or not, like, she just does this. Like, that is her reaction. Her reaction is to be violent, period. So that's normal to her. And it's just, there's really no defense you could give her. I think she is just emotionally insane and mentally insane at that, and she should not be on the road, and there should be consequences had, and there will be, obviously. So she has been charged for those charges I just said, and I doubt that the boyfriend was even cheating on her. I doubt that Jawan was even cheating on her, right? I don't know. I just feel like, and then Jawan I'm gonna need you, like, at some point, you have to, as the man, you have to decide, hey, I'm not gonna deal with this shit anymore, right? Like, I think, for women, it was harder for women to leave abusive relationships because, who else is gonna support me? I'm gonna be all alone, and I have to stick by him, and he's gonna change. He says he loves me, right? Yeah. And, they're of a weaker defense point of view, right? They can't defend themselves as much a man could. It's not no Tina Turner situation. And we'll talk about that because allegedly that whole story was a crock of shit. I'm talking about what's love got to do with it. I'm talking about Tina Turner was not the victim that she portrayed herself to be by Ike Turner. That's what I'm talking about. And we'll get to that another time. But I came across some interesting pieces of evidence that supports what I just said, and Tina Turner was not this victim, woe is me woman. Okay, let that sit and do your research because, wow, this world is just so fake. Like, and I used to love that movie growing up. My 12-year-old ass, my 10-year-old, like, I used to watch that movie when I was so young. And it was gruesome to watch, of course. You have fucking Lawrence Fishburne being the best abuser. Like, if we could give the best abuser award to anybody, he wins it. Just hands down. He beat Angela Bassett's ass. Okay, alleged. Well, in the acting sphere. But yeah, it was all allegedly a crock of shit. Okay, going back to this woman. Yeah, Jawan. I feel like he definitely had witnessed from her violent behavior. He should have never had a baby with her. He should have never continued any relationship with her, right? Whether it was just a sexual thing or not. I think, or, whether it was an actual romantic relationship. He should have saw those big ass red flags and decided, yeah, I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm not dealing with someone who's gonna sleep with a knife under her pillow and wake up with the knife next to my throat. Like, that's not cute. That's not funny. I never thought that was funny. I never thought that type of behavior was cute. Like, I remember being younger in high school and I was in the cheerleading team, and that was when the Jasmine Sullivan's song, I bust the windows out your car, right? And I was listening, I'm like, I like the song as far as like the sound and the melody, and she just has a great voice. But I was talking to some of my cheer teammates, and I was saying, like, I don't agree with that. Like, why would you bust the window out the guy's car for cheating on you? Like, really? Is it that serious? Even back then, y'all, I was speaking this. I'm the same old Dre. Same old Dre. I'm the same old G. Shout out to Genuine. Same old Maxie. Like, I've been me. Back then, I said that. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. You broke the windows out of his car because he cheated on you? Like, that's equivalent? Like, that's just, why can't you just move on and leave him? You know, like, it was just so, and then I received a lot of opposite responses. I had my team members saying, shit, no, that's good. I would have done the same thing too. I would have done worse. And they went through list of things that they would have done in retaliation of him cheating. What? Okay. Like, even at that time, when I was younger, I just don't like to expend a lot of emotional energy on you. Like, it's already a lot for me to start loving somebody, liking them really hard. That's a lot of heavy emotion. Now I'm going to be angry at you. Now I'm going to bust the windows at your car. Nah, I'm going to have to walk away. I'm going to have to leave. Anyway, I just feel like with Jawan, maybe he should have left much sooner, right? Maybe he should have left her alone. It's just disturbing. It's very disturbing. You know, we live in a society where we think we need to retaliate. We need to have a vengeance. Vengeance is of the Lord. No, but seriously, I feel like, look, people will get their just due. And if you just hold on to that negative energy, you're really just drinking poison. Their lives is ongoing. They're moving on. They're going about their day. They're living lovely with that side woman, right? Shout out to Kevin Hunter, Wendy Williams' ex-husband, who decided to have a whole new life with the side, with his extramarital affair woman, and had a baby with her, living with her. Like, they have a family. Like, they're together. He changed his error ways because he decided to move on with her. What was I getting at? He tried to, Anyway, the point is, so that's where I was getting at. He moved on, but you see Wendy Williams just deteriorating. She actually checked back into rehab, which is good. I hope she gets the help that she needs. But prior to that, you see her deteriorating. You see her just collapsing in front of us and not being just stable. And it's very disturbing. And I get, like, a lot of people say, well, ever since she announced the divorce and ever since he impregnated his side woman and da-da-da, it's like, okay. But you have to move. Like, you can't have, like, he's over there happy with this other woman who he's had a baby with, and you're over here drinking poison. Like, that doesn't hurt him. I mean, maybe he may be hurt just objectively at the very least. Like, damn, like, you're the mother of our child, right? Of our adult son. I don't wish you bad. But to drink poison, metaphorically, of course, and live your life so damaged because of the actions of someone else, I just hope I never get to that point in my life. Like, if I've ever felt like, dang, like, I'm so hurt and I'm drinking poison, metaphorically, and I'm just deciding I'm gonna run you over with my car, child, no, I just don't condone that. I do have sympathy for that because I feel like all your life you felt like being violent was the answer, when it's not. It's really not the answer. Like, you could react differently. You don't have to, like, you could just leave him alone. You could move on. You could focus on other things. You could focus on your career goals, your academic goals, your emotional goals, your financial, like, there's more to life. There's more to life. Ooh, child. So rest in peace to the older man who got caught up by being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And sympathies go out to all the parties involved and her sister. Like, were you fucking him? Were you fucking Jawan? What's going on, sis? So that's messed up. Now, speaking of physical violence as a form of retaliation, Cardi B has pled guilty to charges for a 2018 strip club fight. So the story is Cardi B in 2018 paid men, or was it women, but she paid someone $5,000 to beat up two female bartenders at this strip club in New York, I believe. And she did that because she had reason to believe that one of these two bartenders is either one or the other, but she decided to just go ahead and have people beat them up, both of them. She did that because she had reasons to believe that they were having an affair with Offset at the time. Now, again, another case. And so the hit was made. Now, it wasn't a hit on their lives necessarily, but a hit was made. And I mean, they could have lost their life. They got beat up, but thankfully they didn't. And she pled guilty for these charges of assault in the 3rd degree and a reckless endangerment. So she admitted that she ordered this hit and decided to release a statement, which I actually appreciate what she said. She says, quote, "Part of growing up and maturing is being accountable for your actions. As a mother, it's a practice that I am trying to instill in my children. But the example starts with me. I've made some bad decisions in my past that I am not afraid to face and own up to. And these moments don't define me, and they are not reflective of who I am now. I'm looking forward to moving past the situation with my family and friends and getting back to the things I love the most, the music and my fans." So I thought that was a very thoughtful response to all of this. Nice commentary. But, again, it speaks to the culture that we're in. We think beating up people and reacting violently is equivalent to being cheated on, and, whether you beat up the other woman or the very person you're having a relationship with, is it really worth it? She did all that for what? Just to stay with him. She's still married to him. Right? And at that time, I don't know if she was married to him then, but she still stayed with him, and that's the point. That's the point that I'm making. You have the other woman I was just talking about, Tavia, whatever her name is, run over her boyfriend. He survived. She's obviously going to go to jail. She's probably already in jail now. But say if she got away with it, they probably would have had an argument for a couple of days, and then she would have been back with him. And that's the point that I'm making. Like, going through someone's phone means nothing. Like, you're wasting 3 or 4 days of being angry, having these arguments, just to fuck him on the 5th day. What are we doing? Like, we're not leaving him. We're not leaving him. Like, we're staying right beside him. So it just makes no sense to me why you think it is beneficial to react this way when you're going to stay with him regardless. And don't start saying, well, we got kids together. Well, you had kids with him. You already had kids with him at the point of you deciding to run him over. The excuse of, well, I have kids with him, that wasn't a good enough excuse for you to decide not to run him over with your car? I don't know, child. I mean, am I wrong? What do y'all think? So that's my take on it. I'm going to have to end this episode a bit early because I have to go. I have somewhere to be. I actually have an interview to go on, and I'm not trying to be late. So we're going to wrap up this episode here. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you are subscribed to God Built This Podcast on YouTube, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. Leave a comment, tell a friend, and continue to support however you can. You can check out Patreon for exclusive episodes, and I will check in with you guys next time. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of God Built This Podcast with your host, Maxine. Be sure to leave a review, give me 5 stars, and of course, subscribe. Also, follow God Built This Podcast on Instagram at God Built This Pod. God bless.